sheet.
While I pull your toe really hard.
Do you want a pillow under your feet? Yes, please, because the towel ends really awkwardly. There we go. Okay. So towel on spine. So that's just going to be a really nice opening for her. We're addressing our postural concerns. Last time we had done, and you guys have done your cross hands here. So that's lovely. Spend some time. One thing that I will say is when you are doing this,
Don't choke them out.
don't you? Oh, that's it. That's yeah. Don't do that.
Do it anyway.
Just do it.
Especially if you don't like them.
I'm gonna just turn it down tomorrow.
Oh, you don't like them.
So one of the things you may have noticed, I've just tilted her head to the side so that she's not looking like basically straight up into my chest or right up my nostrils. Okay. So as I'm here, once again, if you're doing this in your OP, to actually spend like 30 to 45 seconds holding this, okay? What happens after this? What did I say? Pegs picking up?
Platysma?
Oh,
Platysma.
Oh, yeah.
This is plasma. Plasma, and then pecs picking up. Pecs minor, contract for that.
So what I'm talking about with platysma. So what are some of the? I don't want to do this side.
Not with me doing this.
Is everybody? So one of the areas, if you're kind of going, okay, so I'm putting a treatment plan together, and what do I actually want to do? Okay, so it's not like, here's some suggestions, but you have to kind of go, what is my treatment going to be about, right? So where do I want to open up? I want to open up through here. So scalenes, clavicle, pec minor, and then I'm doing a lot of work of Swedish down the arm, right? So one of the things that we're going to do is just open up that platysma first, okay? Because that's sitting right here, and we want to kind of open that up before we get further into pecs. So what I'm doing just with my cross hands is, where is that platysma? So I've got sort of coming up and then into the zygomatic kind of part of the mandible. And this is going to be pretty subtle. Sarah, you okay? Yeah, so you kind of get this like shearing up, and you can see that as I'm sort of coming up from the mandible and then into the zygomatic process. Yeah.
It's been a long time.
You just hold it. It's mild spreading it, right?
Spreading.
I need to take my own. It's both.
So again, kind of this very subtle, what I'm doing first, the first thing, and a lot of this class is really like, as you may have noticed, I'm like, how are you engaging the tissue, right? So let your hands sink in and glue first, because we so often just want to go, what's the movement, right? As opposed to going, okay, so I'm going to start here, I'm going to start here, I'm going to just let my hands settle, I'm going to take a breath. And then I'm going to start moving my hands, okay? And you'll really see, oh, that's such a different, I've actually like engaged the tissue. I can actually kind of feel what's happening, and I can feel that moving a bit more. What's that? You're just gonna, so here's, yeah, exactly. So, and this is, and I've seen it and I've done it. So as you're doing this, and you're doing this lovely thing that you're gonna do for like 90 seconds, so taking a breath, and I'm all calm and zen, and I'm feeling the tissue, and inside I'm like, holy crap, holy crap. Right? I don't need to see that. But you can just go, the people that are really good at it, and you know who you are in this room because I've seen you do it, of just like, that are really good at just being like, oh, I'm so into the tissue. Oh, I'm just feeling that tissue.
That's like
That is you.
You're gonna like listen, someone can listen to it.
On listen, yeah, your ear kind of comes up a little like. In there. Yeah, exactly.
Dana too.
What does it say next? Once I've done my platysma? Text picking up. Okay. So, can I scooch around here? Yeah, I'm going to get you to move. Sure. So, one thing that I just want to add to this is in this whole process, I don't want her arm elevated. So you're going to be really tempted to go, oh, I'm going to do some of this and like raise this all up. I don't want to see this elevated at all, okay? So even to the point where I really want to see that her arm is to the side rather than even kind of up, if I can get you to even put your arm down, okay? Is that going to make a huge difference in your clinical life? Probably not. But I need to see that you're aware that elevation is a problem for this client, okay? So when I get into her pecs, put her arm here, and I'm doing my picking up, the thing that I want to just add to this, and you guys have done this is like, yeah. So all I want to add to this is that you are using your body weight, so kind of leaning in so that I'm picking this up. And then once I pick that up, I'm sliding my thumbs along to try and run into pec minor, okay? So I've got my thumbnails kind of right scooching along the rib cage until I feel that bit of pec minor, and it's almost like I want to lift it up. I'm not going to be able to. I'm probably just going to kind of run into it, but I kind of want to just see if I can lift it or bow it or affect it in some way, okay? So when I feel that pec minor, and I'm here, I can feel the edge of it, and I'm just trying to bow it a little bit, or lift and move that around, okay? Because pec minor is going to be a big contributor to that circulation down into the arm, okay? So lots of picking up, what else have I got on there?
Pec minor, contract relax, clavicle modes.
Okay, so we'll do that. But I would say to spend some time in your pec picking up before you try and get into pec minor, just so that you can sort of give a little bit of space, which will make it easier to get into pec minor. Sorry, you're still okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. Sorry, you just were talking to me and I didn't listen.
Contract, relax.
Okay. So what I want to do is, like I'm compressing through the coracoid process. And essentially what I want her to do is push her shoulder up into me, and then I'm going to roll her shoulder back, okay? So heel of my hand is on the spine of the scapula in the back. Front is on the coracoid process. I'm going to get you to, for 3, 2, 1, and then exhale and relax. And then, so all I'm doing is like this.
Pain, discomfort? That looked a little weird.
No? Okay, and again, just super
Oh, well, yeah, I'm like,
and again. 3, 2, 1, and relax.
Contract, so you're hooking your scapula.
So then I'm pushing the scapula back, so I'm basically trying to de-rotate her scapula a little bit to try and stretch that like this. Yeah, exactly, like this and like this. Yeah, exactly.
so when she's going to go like that and then that.
She's going to contract forward, and then I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Okay?
Birth trap. Minor.
Clavicle moves. So clavicle joint play is basically, I'm just going to start picking this up. And almost like an anterior, what's that?
Your arm is stuck?
No, clavicle. So I'm rolling my fingers around that space, posterior clavicle, and I'm just trying to bring that like anterior and almost like a little bit of a rocking motion. And almost just to like bring some space right into this area, okay? You're okay there?
How does that feel like? Rather
Snapping up. You can fix their
How much integrity does the clavicle
A whole lot.
It's like snapping.
Sorry. And this is the thing about joint play, right? So what does joint play do? Am I going right to the end range in joint play? No, exactly. Like I've just got exactly.
Just a grief dislocation.
Yeah.
Pulling it into
Anteriorly, yeah. So I just got this sort of anterior distraction. But again, once you get into where you start doing actual joint moves and you start to get much more specific, that's fine. But joint play is really just this, can I get some of this moving where this really may not be very mobile, and hopefully the intention is getting this a bit more mobile is also going to affect blood flow into the arm. Okay, what's my next thing? Nerve glide.
Sounds so gross.
No, it's yeah, it isn't really anything other than.
Isn't it like nerve flossing?
Yeah.
Is this the
Oh,
same thing?
no. Yeah. So lots of different ways that you can do this. You are really hypermobile, or not hypermobile. You're mobile.
She's hypermobile.
I'm not even going to add a judgment to it.
She has no nerve.
Yeah.
I'm super flexy.
So essentially what I'm doing is I'm going like this. So I'm just starting with her externally rotated. I can add to this if I get her to put her ear to her opposite shoulder. She's really mobile. The other thing I can do, it wants to stop about there. It wants to stop about there.
That
A
doesn't
lot
seem
of people,
good.
yeah, so a lot of people here, like when you start to get about here, a lot of people are gonna go, whoa, so this is where you really have to go fairly slowly.
pain, or just they can't go any further?
It just feels like nervy
ulnar
and
nerve
weird and
starts sort of-
stuck, and it just feels like, whoa. And you'll, as you kind of walk around and see, you'll feel, if everybody does this, I'm gonna just pop your hand just for a sec. So tilt your left ear to left shoulder, and then if you slowly start to bring your arm out, extending your wrist and extending your fingers.
Ow.
Yeah, kind of bites it at the end.
And it just kind of feels like a little bitey, a little like, yeah.
What is it for?
Yeah, it's kind of
Nerve
like a snare floss.
Glides. If it's compressed nerve
So
or
the
ulnar
idea
nerve.
is that it's getting the nerve and the vasculature to start moving as you. It's not really something that you would just hold. It would be something that you would go back and forth. It's going to bring blood flow to the nerves, and it's going to get the vasculature moving, which again, blood flow. Anybody, I will give you my like #1 top secret like move of people coming in with shoulder problems is this. And I'm not kidding. You do like 3 or 4 of these in this position, and people will get up and they'll go, I have never been able to move my shoulder like this in my whole entire life.
I'm gonna use that tomorrow.
Yeah. And then because they go, and I do it for them, and then afterwards when they go, oh wow, that's amazing, my shoulder feels so much better, then I go, oh, this is what you do at home 3 or 4 times a day, and they go, oh, I've seen, like I felt why that works, and I feel it immediately because it happens immediately, okay?